The year was 458 BC. The Torah, the first 5 books of the Old Testament, and in many ways its core, was later supplemented by further texts. These collective works have come down to us as the Old Testament. From their own complex and difficult history, the Israelites had wrought a document that is still influencing the world.
The Bible is, of course, the most important creation of the Israelites ever. It is the most wonderful and rich literary creation ever created. I think it's still the bestseller, isn't it? It's the best sold book until this very day.
It's this continuing influence, particularly in moral debates, that makes the Old Testament's reliability as history still a matter of importance. Professor Finkelstein and Neil Silberman have shown that not every story or word of the Old Testament can be literally true, and that as history it has to be carefully interpreted. But their objective is not to undermine or dismiss deeply held beliefs.
Despite all the controversy, what we are doing is creating that archaeological story that goes in parallel with the still very profound and cherished biblical tradition.
What we are trying to do, what we wish to do, is not to discard, the biblical text, but to make a distinction between tradition, which is important to all of us, and scientific research. This, I think, is a central piece in what we wish to do. Put this distinction between the two. Tradition is important. Archaeology cannot trash the tradition. Archaeology cannot destroy tradition, because tradition has life of itself.
We're not saying that one is correct and one is incorrect any more than we would say that the poetry of Genesis is incorrect now that we know a bit about human evolution. What we're doing is just continuing a struggle, a scholarly struggle that's been going on for 100 years. The boundary just now happens to be in the story of the Israelites and the Israelite kingdom. And it's moving forward slowly to separate religious literature and spirituality from what we call history.
Modern scholarship is showing then that the Old Testament was a human and highly partisan construct. This does not, however, take away its power or enduring moral force. Indeed, in many ways, it makes the achievement of those who wrote the Old Testament all the more remarkable.
Sometimes when I see how great it is that there was a source that pictured God as very heavenly and universal, and another pictured God as the God of your Father, very close and personal, but then they come together and you get a Bible about a God who is universal and also close. It's God who created the universe and God of your Father. To me, this is a great thing, but I still haven't really come to understand how it worked out so well. We're not talking about one author sitting down and designing something so it comes out nicely at the end. We're talking about 100, 150 authors in the whole Bible writing, and you get a story that flows and works so well and makes such sense and has consistency in it that to me that is, I hesitate to use the word, but a miracle.